Well, if it isn't the consequences of her own actions. Hello, ladies, men, and non-binary friends. Welcome back. So last week I talked about right-wing journalist Zoe Strimpel, who wrote an entire article talking about how Nicola Coughlan was too fat to play the romantic lead in Netflix's Bridgerton. It was a bad article. I will not be going through it again, so if you're interested in hearing me talk about it, please click this video in the upper right corner or linked in the description before coming back here to watch this video. Or go in blind, I don't really care, I just won't be explaining everything. Anyways, unsurprisingly, Zoe got a ton of backlash for this very hateful article, and a week after publishing that initial article, she came out with another describing her, quote, week in hell, basically trying to get people to feel bad for her. Last week, I had a big reminder of the sheer sadistic horror of the maddened woke. I wrote an article stating that the casting of proudly overweight actress Nicola Coughlan as romantic lead in the latest Bridgerton series was the most interesting foray the Netflix blockbuster had yet made into diversity. This already is grossly misleading and underplaying how much fat shaming went on in that initial article, which is also now behind a paywall, So the only way to prove her wrong is by giving the Spectator £3. Or you can see it in my video. In casting a fat actress in that role, the program was asking us to believe that she would finally catch the eye of her prince, the aristocratic Colin Bridgerton. I wrote that it was not plausible, for good or ill, because of the world we live in. This isn't rocket science. And yet the article spawned waves and waves of personalized abuse, including hundreds of people going through my online photos and writing how hideous I am. I'm still on the receiving end of this vile torrent. I have marveled at the sheer crudeness of the insults, a disgusting tone and style, swears, threats, scathing, hectoring, taunting, that takes the breath away and makes one despair about the future. For if this is what the internet generation are like, what hope? It's like they're barely human. This deluge of excreta has shown several things. One is the rise of the total inability to separate culture from personal offense. These people don't seem to grasp that a huge blockbuster for Netflix is entirely fair game for criticism, despite the fact that it wasn't really all that much about the show. It was basically just fat shaming one actress, but okay. Coughlan is seemingly a wealthy star with a terrifying fan base, while her troll warriors molder in their basements writing expletive-laden insults to me. Yet to them, she is the victim. It's clear that all sense of scale, not to mention civility, is dead, that people's language abilities have been seriously degraded by a decade on social media. The big takeaway, though, is that those who shout loudest on behalf of inclusivity and moral virtue, be it anti-racism, Palestine, or fat rights, are amongst the most aggressive and anti-virtuous and least humane of all. Wow. We really hit all the right-wing talking points, huh? Woke mob, going after the young generation, dehumanizing them, saying that her vile rhetoric is critique or free speech. Anyone coming after her is a troll or basement dweller. Backlash was just due to lacking media literacy. And we even got a little dose of Zionism there at the end. By the way, yes, she is a confirmed Zionist. I talked about this in my last video. And the actress she went after, Nicola Coughlan, is a loud and proud supporter of Palestine. And many people were like, maybe this is why she was so out of pocket. Anyway, my response to this latest article, unsurprisingly, is I don't know what to tell you, lady. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But in all honesty, what the fuck did you expect? Like, you went after the most beloved star of the most popular TV show with the most rabid fan base right now for what? Being fat? Like, fat shaming her for an entire article. Of course you were gonna get harassed. It's the internet. I put out a video talking about a fictional abusive father from My Hero Academia saying that I didn't want him redeemed, and that was a hot enough take for people to harass me. And while a lot of the responses, many of them I included in my past video, are from people like me who broke apart your argument and talked about how fucking embarrassing and cringe it is for a 41-year-old woman to be publishing an article like that, there were also a lot of people shaming your body because you shamed someone else's body. And again, I'm not saying that those people were necessarily right, but you're young enough to know about internet discourse and how inflammatory content, like the articles you put out, lead to backlash.
Well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, what's up?
As a journalist, I bet until now you thrived on it. In fact, you might still be laughing all the way to the bank while playing victim, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt here at least and say that you're serious about the backlash being hurtful in this moment. And again, as much as I'm sympathetic to the plight of someone attacking your personal appearance online, respectfully, you fucking did it first. And in your response, you say that you were just critiquing this Netflix show, and they're like, that's fair game. And again, you absolutely missed the point, because your entire piece lacked critique. It was the very absence of critique. It was very personal and straight up mean. Like, just because you use some pretty words doesn't mean the shit you were saying wasn't straight out of a Mean Girls group chat. In fact, I predicted this would happen in my last video. The people that advocate for being able to say whatever horrible shit they want under the guise of freedom of speech or critique do not acknowledge that everyone else also has free speech. And the internet is a prime example of that. It has a very visceral way of enacting justice, for better or for worse. And just as much as you technically have the right to say all of the horrible shit you tout on a daily basis, I have just as much right to say that you're being an asshole and that you're wrong. Because it's not like you were doing a review of the show. It's not like you were going like episode by episode and saying things that you didn't like about the storytelling or character development or anything like that. The only quote-unquote critique you had was that a character was fat. And that's fucked up. But when you write a hit piece saying that an actress is too fat to play a role, you're gonna throw a fit when people find pictures of you and call you fat? Like, I truly can't imagine being this lacking in self-awareness. I can't imagine being this dense and being in this much of a state of perpetual victimhood. Like, she really started egging a house and expected the attack dogs outside to just be totally chill. It's so wild to me that people will say the darndest fucking things, the most inflammatory, horrible shit. And when people clap back at them, they're like, whoa, hold on. This isn't how you play the game. I thought you guys accepted everyone. Let's step away from Zoe for a second, because I think this conversation is important in this discussion of, as someone on the left, do I always have to be the bigger person? And this might be a hot take, but as I've gotten older, I've started to say no. Personally, I don't support attacking another person's appearance. I don't support people being doxxed, just point blank period. I try to support the majority, if not all my arguments, with facts and receipts. But if I see like collective online backlash, just like in general, over someone's monumentally bad take, I'm gonna stand back and clap a little bit. I'm gonna take a little bit of joy in that, and I'm not above it to admit that. Because I think as a collective, as a community, it's important to call out really shitty behavior. Again, we could get into a whole discussion of like what constitutes shitty behavior, what goes too far, blah, blah, blah. But I do think community policing and like collective peer pressure for the sake of people like being better is a good thing. Because as much as I would like to believe that being really sweet and talking to some of these right-wing extremists like they're kindergartners and being really patient and understanding with them is the path to like teaching them empathy, sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes the best thing is a healthy dose of embarrassment so people reflect on their actions. And here's the thing, I will never be judge, jury, executioner in the online space. I simply do not have that power. I know that most of what I'm saying is being sent into the void, and I kind of like it that way sometimes. I don't have one true solution to this. I don't think that even exists. I don't know the right kind of cancel culture, the right kind of peer pressure. I don't know. I don't think there's one answer for that. But I'm so fucking tired of always having to be like the bigger person or like the nice guy when there's huge groups of people trying to eradicate other groups and they get to say whatever the fuck they want. Or they can just like straight up lie. They can just straight up say things that like aren't true. And then I'm supposed to combat their complete lies with actual facts, and that's seen on like the same level. Like it's like just so fucking frustrating. You know, there are extremists that are like trying to eradicate my trans friends, people of color in my family, anyone with a religion other than Christian, you know, me as a woman trying to control my body. And like, I'm supposed to have like a civil conversation about that. Why should I have to meet you where you're at? Why should I give you the benefit of the doubt for the sake of argument? Like, I don't want to argue with anybody. I don't want to debate anybody. I just want my friends to like be alive. That would be sick, huh? So I'm going to tell people when they're wrong. And I may not be nice about it. I'm going to call them out for inaccuracies. I will try to give them actual facts. And I'm never, ever going to say someone has bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. But like, if that happens to a bigot like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I might laugh a little. I don't necessarily condone that behavior. I don't want everyone to start doing that. But like, you know what? Maybe that is a little bit of recompense. Maybe that is a little bit of justice that's being had, you know? And I know this stance is not for everyone. My partner, for example, is much more forgiving than I. And I'm really glad he's in my life because I think we all need a balance of that, and skewing too far to either side can be detrimental for everyone. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on this or any success you've had dealing with people who are extremely hateful on the right. If you're interested in helping a Palestinian family, you can help Rawan and her family. She was supposed to go to university this year, but her school was blown up by the Israeli occupation. Yeah. Her GoFundMe's in the description. If you can't donate, make sure to leave a like and a comment. Oh yeah, I'm gonna farm your engagement because there's gotta be someone on this godforsaken app that can donate $1 or $2. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.